What happens when America's sweetheart meets daytime television's most powerful host, and years of buried resentment finally explode into the most shocking confrontation in talk show history? You're about to witness the moment that changed everything between Carrie Underwood and Ellen DeGeneres. Make sure to subscribe and drop a comment below because this story will leave you speechless. The studio buzzed with its usual pre-taping energy, but something felt different that afternoon. Carrie sat in the guest chair, her signature smile perfectly in place, yet her hands gripped the armrests just a little too tightly. The audience clapped as Ellen bounced onto the stage, glowing with her trademark enthusiasm. The band hit its notes, the cameras rolled, and the mood read, business as usual, to anyone who didn't know better. Ellen welcomed the audience and then turned her attention to Carrie with a warm grin. "It's been a while since you've been here," she said, leaning forward in her chair. 3 years, right?" Carrie nodded, returning the smile with practiced ease. Small talk followed about albums and tours, about awards and life on the road, the kind of conversation viewers had seen 100 times before. Then Ellen shifted the energy with a gentle but unmistakable pivot. "Your new album feels different," she said. "There's a song that really stands out. It feels personal." A murmur went across the audience. Carrie adjusted in her seat. "Music comes from life," she replied. A vague answer that still somehow revealed more than she intended. Ellen nodded, eyes bright as if a secret door had just opened. "Speaking of personal," she added with an airy laugh, "you and I haven't always agreed on everything, have we?" It sounded light, but it landed heavy. The room changed temperature in seconds. Carrie's smile held, but only just. "You remember the last time I was here?" Carrie asked quietly. Ellen's eyebrows lifted, a flicker of surprise breaking her composure. "Of course," she said, still smiling. "We've both grown since then, right?" Carrie's voice stayed calm, but something hard edged its softness. "I've thought about that day a lot." The audience leaned in. Ellen attempted to redirect with humor, but Carrie continued, her words sliding into place like pieces of a carefully prepared puzzle. "Sometimes what seems small to one person changes everything for another." Ellen let out a small laugh that sounded rehearsed. "Hey, that's show business," she said lightly. Carrie looked straight at her. "Exactly," she answered. And in that single word, the room seemed to brace itself, as if the real show had only just begun. The shift was subtle at first, like a cloud slipping across the sun. Ellen tried to keep things buoyant, murmuring about good television and surprises that make moments memorable. But Carrie didn't smile this time. "Surprises are only fun when everyone is in on them," she said. Her voice was even, but the meaning wasn't. "Otherwise, they're not surprises. They're blindsides." A low ripple moved through the audience. Ellen straightened, laughter ready on her lips. "Now, come on," she said gently. "No one was trying to hurt you." Carrie shook her head. "Intent doesn't erase impact." The host's grin tightened as she glanced briefly toward the wings. Producers shifted where they stood. Ellen reached for another topic. "Your family," she tried. "How are they?" Carrie leaned forward. "They're the reason I'm speaking right now." The line cut deeper than anyone expected. The audience went quiet. Ellen's fingers drummed lightly against her cards. "Speaking right now about what?" she asked, careful now. Carrie inhaled, the kind of breath people take before diving into cold water. "About being told one thing backstage and something else happening on camera. About laughing it off for years because that's what you're supposed to do when you're the guest and someone else holds the microphone." Ellen's voice softened. "I think maybe we're remembering things differently." Carrie's gaze never wavered. "I don't think so." The air thickened until even the sitcom laughter sign fell out of place. Ellen attempted a break. "Why don't we step backstage and—" "I'm not upset," Carrie interrupted. "I'm done being quiet." A collective intake of breath passed through the studio. Carrie continued, words no longer gentle. "When doors start closing and no one will tell you why. When phone calls stop being returned. When your name suddenly comes with a warning instead of a welcome. You start asking questions." Ellen's smile finally slipped, just a fraction. "Carrie, whatever you think happened, I'm sure it can be fixed." Carrie let out a hollow laugh. "Some things can't be fixed with a conversation. Some things get broken in places no one sees." Ellen's eyes darted toward the cameras, then back to Carrie. "Please," she said quietly. "Not like this." "Like what?" Carrie asked. "Honest." Murmurs from the audience turned into whispers. The cameras didn't blink. Carrie's voice grew steadier with each word. I'm finished pretending. Silence answered her. Ellen opened her mouth, then closed it again. For the first time, the host who always knew what to say didn't have a line ready. Carrie reached into her bag and drew out her phone, holding it loosely in her hand. The small rectangle seemed suddenly enormous, like it had its own gravity. Every camera angled toward it, as if pulled by instinct. Ellen swallowed. Carrie, she said, barely above a whisper, what are you doing? Deciding, Carrie replied. The audience froze, afraid to even breathe. Ellen tried to smile, but it came apart at the edges. Whatever this is, it doesn't belong on my stage. Carrie tilted her head. Your stage is exactly where it belongs. She spoke of messages that changed in tone, of conversations that never quite felt right afterward. She mentioned meetings that blossomed into opportunity and then vanished overnight. Each example was delivered calmly, but together they formed something sharp and undeniable. Ellen rose from her chair, knees unsteady. I would never hurt you, she said, voice cracking. We're friends. Carrie's eyes softened for half a second, then hardened again. Friends don't smile while they're closing doors behind your back. The studio might as well have been made of glass. Everything felt one wrong move away from shattering. Ellen looked toward the wings again, but no help came. The band sat motionless. The audience sat stunned. Carrie lifted her phone slightly, not threatening, just honest. I kept quiet because I thought that's what grace looked like. She paused. Now I realize it looked a lot like fear. Ellen's words hurried out. If anything I ever said was misunderstood. Stop, Carrie said gently. Just stop. The softness in her voice cut deeper than anger ever could. Do you know what it's like, she continued, to wake up one morning and feel like the world has tilted, but everyone around you insists it's flat? Ellen sank back into her chair. Color drained from her face. I did what I thought was best, she whispered. Carrie shook her head. For you. The word echoed louder than any music cue. Carrie straightened, a decision settling into her posture. I'm not here to destroy anything, she said. I'm here to stop lying. Ellen looked up, eyes bright with unshed tears. Please, she said. We've shared too much for it to end like this. Carrie's expression gentled again, but it was the kind of gentleness reserved for goodbye. That's exactly why it has to. No dramatic music swelled. No announcer cut in. Reality stayed raw and unpolished. A truth had been spoken, and it didn't need a soundtrack. Carrie picked up her bag and stood, the sound of her heels against. The studio floor was the only movement. In a room full of people, Ellen rose halfway, as if pulled by habit, then stopped. Don't go, she said quietly. We can still fix something. Carrie turned, not angry now, just tired. I wanted a friend, she said, not a performance. Ellen's shoulders slumped. For once, there was no applause sign to tell the audience how to feel. There was only silence, heavy and real. I looked up to you, Carrie continued, voice steady. I thought kindness was your legacy. I wanted to believe that what you built meant something beyond lights and laughter. Maybe it still can, but not with my silence as the price. Ellen opened her mouth, then closed it. Whatever words she had didn't come out. Carrie gave a small, sad smile. This isn't an ending, she said. It's just the truth finally talking. She headed toward the exit. Cameras tracked her as if by instinct, not direction. The band didn't play her out. There was no commercial break to rescue anyone from the moment. At the door, Carrie paused once more. I'm leaving with everything I came in with, she said. My work, my family, my name, and my honesty. I wish you the same. Then she was gone. The audience didn't move. Ellen remained seated, hands folded, staring at the place where Carrie had stood as if it might open again and make all of this reversible. Crew members exchanged uncertain looks, unsure if the show had ended or if it had only just begun. The studio lights still glowed. The set was still perfect, but the room had changed in a way no carpenter could fix. Somewhere, a red light blinked off, and for the first time that afternoon, the stage was empty without being quiet at all.